about the sounds that A can make a little bit more. We already did a video about all the different sounds that the letter A can make, but let's make a sort of chart so that we don't forget. You can do this at home. You can follow along with me at home. You can use the same words I do. You can use your own words. This is a great activity to go on a book hunt. After you sort of set up your table, then go on a book hunt and look for words that have these sounds in them. So we know that the letter A can say, right, it can say Annie Apple sound, right? It can say ah. So I'm gonna draw the letter A, and then for Annie Apple, so we remember that it's Annie Apple's sound, I'm just going to draw a little apple inside. I'm not going to spend too long on my picture because that's not really the point of our chart today, but I'm going to, goodness, there she is in there. Okay, then next to the A for Mr. A sound, I'm going to draw an apron. I'll draw it next to it. Right, Mr. A is wearing that red and white apron. Okay, then what other sounds do we know that the letter A can make? It can be in R, right, when it gets stolen by a robot. So we have A, R, and R has a robot head and robot legs. And I'm just drawing my quick pictures because, again, that's not really why we're here. Let's put A in a net, and we can draw Annie Apple in there. Okay, so there's our robot stealer, AR, right? And then we also know that AU or AW makes that aw sound, right? So we've got AU and AW. They can both make this aw sound. So let's see. Let's put Annie Apple in both of these letter A's. And then we can draw a little walrus. Now, I'm not sure that there's really any reason why these AU and AW make the same sound, because obviously U and W don't make the same sound. Okay, there's my walrus. And then I need my umbrella. And a little yellow. Okay, so there's AU and AW, and then our last A sound we talked about last week was that right giant all. I need orange for giant all. Here that is. Okay, so Annie Apple is not inside of her apple because the giant has stolen her. Actually, is Annie Apple green and the boots are red? Are orange? That might be right. The L's are orange. So you can see his green boots behind him. Stealing Miss Bache-Wiig. Okay. So there are he's got his boots on. Giant all. Okay. Now that we have all of our pieces on there, we can start to put some words that fit with each letter in our chart. So we know Annie Apple's sound is that ah sound. So we know that there are some words that start with Annie Apple sound, right? Like astronaut. Now, it might be a good idea to illustrate the words as you draw them or as you write them so you don't forget what they are. and when you find them in books. I'm not going to illustrate all my words, but let's quick do, because we'll run out of time, but let's quick do a little spaceman. And then what other words start with that ah sound? I can do any of the words on that Annie Apple page, right? Apple, axe, alligator, antelope, arrow, atlas, acrobat, right? I think I'm going to do the word ask. I've been seeing that a lot in books lately. We also know that that ah sound can come in the middle of words, right? In words like hat or smash. I don't know how to draw that. We don't typically hear that ah sound at the end of words. It happens occasionally, but yeah, so find some of those ah words in your books this week and put them in, fill them in. I just drew right like a story map and fill them in on your chart. You could make a whole dictionary if you wanted to and have a whole page for each sound and fill in as you go so that you can remember the words and write them correctly. Whatever you want to do is fine. Okay, then we know with the apron that this is Mr. A's sound, right? So we know that Mr. A can start words, right? Like acorn or alien. But we also know that there are three kind of different ways. There's more than three, but three ways that we talked about where Mr. A shows up a lot, right? So we know if we have an A and then a magic E, we see Mr. A appear. We know if we have an AI, we see Mr. A appear, and we know if we have an AY, Mr. A is saying his name, right? So let's think of some A magic E words, right? Something like, cape, right? We hear that Mr. A sound in cape. Or snake, right? We hear that Mr. A sound. AI words, we've got words like rain, right? Or rainbow or train or weight. We also have words like paint, painting. And then AY, we have all of those words that have day in them, right? Sunday, yesterday, today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? All of our days of the week. And then we also have words like x-ray and pay, weigh, and spray. Right? AY words. Okay, now let's think about some R words, right? Our robot stealer words. So we've got words like car and park, farm, smart. What else? Art or artist, right? If you like to do art, if you're good at art, you are an artist. We see that AR at the beginning. Awesome. Look for our R words. There's lots of them. They're all over the place, right? Now this AU-AW, that ah sound, right? We have saw is one of our purple sight words. The person who writes the words of every book is an author. Some of you may or may not watch a show that has that AW sound in it, right? Paw. The month of August starts with that AU. August. Right? Does that make sense? Ooh, one of my favorite ones. Strawberry has that AW in the middle. Straw. Okay, and then last A sound is that all sound. So we've got words like call and small and fall, wall, right? So here's our chart, sort of A words. We can use this to help us when we're reading. Add words to it. Look for words. Cut words out of magazines. Figure out where they belong and glue them on if you want to. Think about words that have all of those A sounds. The more we practice these A sounds, the easier they are to see. When you know what all the A sounds are, when you're reading, it becomes easier to you don't have to try them all. You'll know just by looking at the word, oh, I know that that's Mr. A saying his name because he's next to an I. So when we practice, it makes us get faster and faster and faster at reading and at writing. So try this and send me a picture when you're done. I can't wait to see them. Good luck.